the tapes show that the Civil Rights Act was a priority. This was something that was absolutely essential to what Lyndon Johnson wanted to accomplish as president. There's no question about that. There are lots of conversations where he is trying to make sure that the ball doesn't fall off the table without the administration getting what it wants. Another thing is to consider that the Civil Rights Act, even though it was a top priority, was not the only priority. Johnson was in this for the long play. He was making the long play here. The civil rights fit into a vision of the Great Society. It fit into a vision of the war on poverty. It fit into, I think, principally, a vision of economic growth that he had. For Lyndon Johnson, the tax cut and the Civil Rights Bill and the war on poverty and what would eventually be Medicare and Medicaid and a whole range of Great Society legislation is premised upon this notion that you can develop an economy that continues to grow. And in the words of Walter Heller, you don't have to lean into the wind or lean out of the wind to try to shave off the cycles of the American business cycle anymore. You can get that engine going, and you can control that engine, and you can have maximum growth all the time. Of course, Vietnam's going to come along and ruin those plans, particularly in the views of Walter Heller. So you have to consider the long play that's going on here and how Johnson sees civil rights, I think, as an essential part of the economic transformation of the country. And another component here is that, and I'll summarize this one as in a very eloquent way of saying, being president is hard and it's exhausting. And it's really bad for your health. And it leads to a lot of people dying early, and not just from assassination. And if you go and you look at these tapes, what you see is how civil rights fits into one of about 15 different things going on at that moment, and how much a president relies on advisors and relies on the information system that's out there. So very quickly, what's going on with Johnson, there's tax issues. There's a Bobby Baker scandal investigation that Johnson's been thrown right into the middle of. There is Vietnam, lots of things going on with Vietnam. There's stuff happening in the South with civil rights workers and others disappearing. You have a whole range of other bills that are being put forward, and Johnson trying to put them through, particularly dealing with the war on poverty. And that's